Mine is like pretty vanilla.
She did bedazzle I got those white pants, but I got fucking festive cowboy.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm considering doing that cowboy hat, that pecan one, Lauren. I don't know if that would look good with
your Vegas.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I took my cheap little Cavender's $30 hat, and that's just gonna be my Christmas hat now.
Yeah, I definitely don't
ruined it.
have lights on it.
Regular use anymore, but worth it.
Is your video all good?
Yeah,
is that
man.
a good angle, or do I need to
I like
change
it.
up any?
No, I like it a lot.
All right, cool. Well, I'm good to go whenever you are.
So tell me about the. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Man.
At the Ugly.
And I'm
Christmas.
sorry I have to be doing this while we're.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's
I did not think this through whenever we set up the interview time.
It's no big deal to me at all. Really, it's not. Where though did the Ugly Christmas sweater party tradition idea come from?
Man, I think we just a lot of our touring, our hard ticket play touring, has traditionally been in November, in like October and November, and that goes like way back. If we were going up to New York or whatever, I feel like, especially in the Northeast, like Chicago over to the east, a lot of those tour dates would always fall in November for some reason or another. I don't know. And so early December was kind of like our homecoming, finally being back home. And I also don't want to, just to make it clear, like January to November was already us being out and about or whatever, typically throughout every year. And it would be a lot of like festivals and a lot of other touring different parts of the world, the country, anyways, but it's almost like it would always come to a head in November, and we would do a whole lot of hard ticket plays in clubs over up to the east and northeast. And so in a way, early December was kind of like us coming home back to Texas after this whole year of being out and all this stuff. And I think with that said, it's right there at Christmas. We thought it would be fun to do like a Christmas themed set of concerts, and one of them was always Dallas, and then we started doing Austin, Dallas, and then Houston, Dallas, Austin, and then even San Antonio. And that's kind of where it all started, and we more or less just wanted to have a good time and make it fun, and so we wanted to do the Ugly Christmas sweater shows. And it's kind of funny because I've seen a lot of other bands pop up now and are all doing that same thing. This is, I think, our 8th year since we started it, and but it's also the first year that we haven't been able to do all those markets. We're only getting to do Houston because of radius clauses with other shows that we had that we didn't know were going to interfere with Austin and Dallas. And anyways, we unfortunately had to let go of those for this year.
So what can people expect tonight at the Ugly Christmas Sweater Show? I mean, I've never been to one. Are we playing Christmas music? What goes on?
No. It's our regular show. It's just we just want our fans to be able to dress up and be festive and.
You wanted me to go spend the $22 on this ugly ass sweater.
Exactly,
right.
and just goof off and at the same time, like, we'll normally start the show a little differently than we normally do, but it's not meant to be like a Christmas song. It's not like a whole bunch of Christmas songs or anything like that. It's more just you show up dressed as a buffoon, and get to have a good time and hear the songs that you came to hear. You know what I mean, for the most part.
Right on. Are you going to wear a sweater? Do you wear sweaters at these?
So I normally wear like a woman's cardigan.
Okay.
No, it's like a blazer. I found it at a Goodwill one year, and it just stuck, and I've used it the last several years, and I don't know, I bet it smells horrible.
Oh, man.
My wife actually made me wash it this year, and so we got that going for us. But anyways, I'll normally just wear like a white shirt with this red like suit jacket looking thing over it, and and I wear these like white and black snakeskin boots and a matching belt and stuff like that. But mine's not as over the top as like Dustin, for example, is on the poster here, and you can see his custom glitter boots that he made and his pants and everything like that. So some of the guys definitely go more above and beyond than I do, but
I love that.
yeah, the idea is just to have some shows back home, quote unquote home, at least back in Texas, and because it's around the holidays, get everybody dressed up and put on a good show for them.
Talk to me about what it means to you, Shane, being an artist that is from Texas and the Saints being from Texas. What does it mean? What does Texas music and the culture mean to you?
I think it's a really special thing, and not to be like cheesy with like Texas pride and like I think the state of Texas has like a really special thing to it where you can have an entire genre or subgenre of music that gets totally supported and totally backed by the local community here for the most part, and that goes as far as radio stations playing it. That goes as far as music blogs. Like I think of Saving Country Music or Gallywinter or like all these old like music blogs that have been around within the Texas country or red dirt world, but really just like Texas independent music scene. And that's a really special thing because we've toured everywhere in the country, and we've done it for, around 15 years now, something like that. And that does not exist. I mean, like, to me, it's like similar to in the early 90s, I guess, like in Seattle and places like that with rock music and these bands that were like underground that were getting discovered, and these like smaller radio stations were picking them up, and these smaller music blogs were losing their minds about them and getting the word out. And to me, it reminds me a lot of that, where it's just there's a lot of people that are really passionate about it and are just really supportive and want to help you. They don't want to be just a fan of yours. They literally want to help get you to a bigger place, and to help see you succeed, which I think is very different than just a fan.
Man, I love that you said that. That's one of the best answers that I've heard. And I grew up, loving that music in the 90s, and it's so true. That scene was so special. It's historic. We still talk about it today, and I definitely agree with you 100% that Texas is along that same. It's on that same tier. It's on that same level. It's that certain specialness. So I love that.
I do think a lot of that is going away, though, unfortunately, and fortunately. I don't know how to look at it, but like it is opened up, which I think is a big nod to Texas and Oklahoma and these red dirt fans, because they're open to just good music. It doesn't have to be red dirt or whatever. It's like I remember whenever. Like BJ Barham and American Aquarium and that band started coming around. That one's all done. I'm doing this one now. When they all started coming around, I remember that was like completely open arms. The red dirt world. Those guys are from like Raleigh, North Carolina, but they started playing shows with Turnpike, and it's not like people were bummed that they weren't from here. It's like, no, you guys are awesome. Like, yeah, we're going to support you, and we're going to play your songs on the radio. And you're seeing that now with like Charles Wesley Godwin and with the Red Clay Strays and with a lot of these, a lot of buddies of ours that they're not from Texas, but at the same time, the Texas like infrastructure, and a lot of them I don't think realize how big it is, because it really does. Once you get that support system behind you, it really does. I mean, all of a sudden you'll like sell 3,500 tickets at Billy Bob's all of a sudden, and it's your first time playing in Fort Worth or whatever, and it's like that's not just because you're playing a venue in Fort Worth. It's because 95.9 The Ranch has been blowing it up all week and playing your songs or I say all week, like for the last 6 months leading up to the show, and have talked about your name. And that is a massive part of all of us succeeding when that community opens their arms and lets you in.
And shout out to Shane Hollinger.
Oh, dude, Shane Hollinger, all of them, man. Back in the day, it was, Ben Ryan was one of them, and met him in San Angelo originally, and at a smaller station. And but I guess what I'm getting at is like the whole Red Dirt thing is more. It's not about like you being in Texas or Oklahoma. It is just about like supporting good independent musicians and having an infrastructure that is like, yeah, we found these people and we're trying to help them get a leg up. We're not,
I do know what you mean.
And it's more about like raising awareness to like an independent music scene than it is like, oh, Texas or Oklahoma or,
I do, and I appreciate you saying it because, I work with a lot of Texas musicians. I primarily focus on Texas country and Texas music, and, sometimes, I'm not mentioning any names or throwing anybody under the bus, but sometimes the people, I think, get jaded, and they'll try to latch onto something and give it an excuse. And I just think someone who's had the success that you've had, putting in the work over the years, and you're getting deserved recognition, right? You have one of the most incredible bands on the planet. I don't think that there's anybody arguing with that, but to see you say that, I think it's going to hit home to a lot of folks. So I appreciate that.
No, of course. I mean, I can't tell you like how many people over the years, whether it's blogs or small radio stations or whatever it is, like they have just given us a leg up and they've tried to help us succeed. And if it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't have made it the few years following, let alone gotten to where we are now. I think just because it was like there was all these baby steps to get a leg up and to, find some kind of success.
Let's talk about where you are now. So we're closing out 2024, and the Northern album is on almost every best of list of the year, rightfully so.
Oh, that's cool. I appreciate that.
Tell me, I haven't been able to talk to you since that album came out, but it's one of my favorites of the year. Talk to me about, do you write on purpose so cinematically?
Yeah, my wife and I both are very, it's funny you say the cinematic thing because it's like, I think that is like the genre of music that we love, and it's absolutely inspired our sound, and that could be like, you could say Fleet Foxes are cinematic, you could say like Band of Horses are cinematic, or like M83 or a lot of those type of bands, all the way to even The Band and like a lot of those older, there's a ton of that like older folk country music that's super nostalgic and like, and I think that's just, you're gonna start writing in a direction of whatever it is that you're into at that time, and I think that's been no different for us. I just think that I'm very drawn to the cinematic music, like what you're talking about. And
you're one of the best at it, man. It's a hard skill to do, and it's instantaneous with your music, and it's such a cool. The visuals when you're just listening to you lyrically and sonically, the band, man, it's just such a cool experience. If Northern was adapted for film, who would you have directed?
Man, that's a great question. I would say, maybe like Coen Brothers, I could see. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I like at first thought maybe Coen Brothers.
Right on. Speaking of the cinema side of your music, my favorite video of the year is Adeline.
Oh, thank you.
I love that song. I love that video. Tell me about that video and tell me about that song a little bit.
Man, it's the video was recorded in Austin. It's actually our tour photographer and videographer Eric, who was just in the room with us. He's like the lead actor in that music video, and anyways, we had a little dive bar in Austin that was willing to let us go film in there, and then we had my buddy Adam Lewis had this FJ, this old FJ that he let us use for it, and it just kind of all came together. Our buddy David Wells helped a massive amount with that music video, and Tori Blake, our friend Tori in Austin, she was the lead actress in it, but yeah, it's the Deep Eddy Cabaret. That bar in Austin is where it was filmed. And anyways, it was just a handful of friends that put in a whole lot of work to try to make it happen and make it happen quickly for us. And it came together definitely as by far the most like professional looking music video we've ever done, you know. And I just thought they all did an incredible job. And the song itself was more intended to be like an easier singer-songwritery, almost like an Eagles type of 4-part harmony chorus. You know, it's singing about the struggle of somebody who is caught up in a really busy industry for work, and that is kind of like looking back and saying like, I should have, you know, I should have fought harder for the relationship. I should have let you hold me back, you know. And so anyways, it's obviously I can relate with it a lot. I think any musician can relate with it a lot, but I think it's universal across all jobs. You know, it's like one of the most common things ever with relationships, where your work gets in the way, and it's just like, it's hard to balance and find any kind of balance with it. And so it made a lot of sense for us, and what was intended to be a more easier listening version of it ended up being a much more rock, heavier, folk rock type of recording. Once we were in the studio with Bo Bedford, it turned into that, you know.
I love it, man. Do you have to go? We need to wrap it up.
I'm
here?
supposed to.
Yeah, we can.
But I just don't know if.
I don't want to cramp your style. I really appreciate your time, man.
I'm checking with them to see.
We can wrap it up. We're good. I got some great stuff, man.
Well, yeah. If you want to do another question, we can do that, and then go.
Tell me what you're looking forward to most in 2025. You got the Cody Jinks tour coming up. Will there be a follow up to Northern? Is there a sequel to that? I mean.
Well, we have. We've extended the tour for Northern into 2025, and most of those hard ticket shows are going to be in the spring, and we're going back to the West Coast for a lot of that, and the Southwest, and anyway, so yeah, here you go. Okay. And so, anyways, we're going to be covering a lot of the markets that we didn't cover in this fall tour, and so it's going to be the first time in a long time that we've come back to like Arizona and California and a lot of these places for shows of our own rather than being on festivals and things. And so I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of tour dates in the spring, and I know we're doing a lot of big festivals like Under the Big Sky again. We're doing that one in Montana, and I think Windy City Smokeout in Chicago. There's just a lot of big ones that are coming in, and we're really excited for it.
Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
100%. I appreciate you.